everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Board Game Breakfast. We're recording today from Pensacola, Florida, where I've just dropped off my daughter at college. And so that's life. I would have liked to show you the Pensacola beach, but hey, we got a time crunch, so I'm just recording here at the hotel. Hey, this isn't really going to affect the rest of the week. I'm driving back today, so this should be posted while I'm driving, actually, or close to that point. But I might be a little bit tired, so we're going to push back my live Q&A till tomorrow. We'll do it sometime Tuesday. Keep an eye on our channel to see when that live Q&A is scheduled. And other than that, though, hey, we're at the end of August. We're almost in the last third of the year. This year has flown by. But with that being said, let's get started with the news. So first we have a lot of news from Lookout News, Newsfeared. This is, they have a new thing, a place deck for this. 45 cards, it's gonna add a fourth deck, some more stuff to the game, and metal coins. And not a very big expansion, but hey, metal coins. Isle of Skye. This is going to have their second expansion, which is Druids. This is a bigger expansion, adds a new buying phase, new things to get. There's some new boards and stuff. I'm not quite sure on this game what everything that's involved here, but it looks interesting. Caverna Cave vs. Cave. I didn't even know this was popular enough to get an expansion, but hey, now it has Era 2, the Iron Age. And the things are like, just so you know, there's not going to be fighting in this game. Oh, okay. But anyway, adds iron and things like that, and new buildings. All right, let's go to Gingerbread House. I'm pretty excited about this one, mostly because it's from Phil Walker Harding, who makes great games. This is a 3x3 little grid. You're building a house with these 2x2 tiles and a few single tiles. That looks interesting, looks fairly simple. This tile laying thing is really hot right now. Agricola Farmers of the Moor. This is a big expansion for Agricola. I don't think it was necessary, but hey, it exists. But it's back now in stock. If you want to get this, it matches the new edition of Agricola, as well as, of course, another deck for Agricola, the Bubulcus deck, another 120 cards. Yay! How many cards do people need for Agricola? There's like more than Magic the Gathering. Okay, so let's jump onto brand new games from Lookout. We have Neom. This is a big tile laying game. The City of the Future, drafting tiles. It seems like city tile laying games is the hot thing of 2018, that and roll and write games. But this one looks interesting. I'm always interested in the new big game that Lookout is going to have, so I'm excited about that. Then we have Feast for Odin. Now this one is on the Z-Man side of things, although Feast for Odin was a Lookout game. The Norwegians, more islands. This is a big expansion, starting buildings. Ooh, I'm very excited because I really like Feast for Odin. All right, finally done with Lookout games. Let's go to Square Enix. They're making Tomb Raider Legions, the board game. All right, not much more information. Apparently they're going to be letting more out. Square Enix makes some fantastic video games. Can they make a good board game? I hope so. Back to Z-Man, Stone Age Anniversary. Now, if you'll notice, it looks like there's winter here. Yes, that's because the board's going to be double-sided. I guess nicer components. One side's going to be winter, and there'll be some new rules for that. Stone Age, of course, is a great little game, or great medium game, whatever. And let's see, also from Plaid Hat Games, we have Starship Samurai Shattered Alliances. 2 more mechs, 40 more cards, action cards. Some cards are faction specific, so that will be interesting to see how all that fits together. I wish it would come with a little colored bases for the game, but hey, you can't get everything. Well, that's the regular news. Let's move to Kickstarter.
Happy breakfast, everybody! If you've ever wanted to play a game about singing sea shanties, well, you might want to check out this week's crowdfunding roundup. Let's take a look. Endogenesis is a deck crafting and hand management game. Playing warring cosmic spirits, each player customizes their deck at the beginning of the game with skill cards. You can specialize or diversify as you wish, and shards allow you to further upgrade health or skills. You discard cards to play attack or reaction skill cards, and Clever Play can create combos or set traps, all of which is good since you also have to deal with events and distortions that will impact you throughout the game. And ultimately, you also have to conquer chaos monsters for game-winning prisms. Endogenesis has huge gameplay customization built in, and you can get a copy for a pledge of 59 Singapore dollars, which is around 43 US dollars, plus shipping. Adrift is a cooperative game of sea survival. You and your fellow players work to make it home by surviving storms, managing resources, and keeping your lifeboat afloat. Each player gets a character which has unique abilities, and players will also have action cards on hand to deal with various challenges. But one twist is that the cards played to either side of the boat must keep the boat balanced or the vessel will start to lose integrity. Make it through the route home deck for victory. Each route card has a sea shanty verse that, when the game is over, results in a unique shanty just for your game. There are 53 verses, making for a pretty wide variety of songs. A first project from game design students in California, Adrift also has historical founding in its gameplay elements. You can get a copy of Adrift for $33 plus shipping. Infinity's Defiance of Fate is a streamlined 4X style game that can play as a narrative cooperative or as a competitive skirmish game. Choose a legendary leader, each of which has different specialties, and then use the custom dice and card decks to build up your faction and then explore and fight. In Infinities, dice are used for actions like playing cards, attacking, discovering tiles, and converting other dice. As gameplay continues, the modular hex board will evolve and you can level up your leader. The story mode is a branching narrative complete with multiplayer and solo play chapters, while the skirmish mode has you and your opponents battling it out. Infinity's Defiance of Fate is a straightforward campaign with a single pledge level of $39 plus shipping to get a copy of the game. And Ryan Lockett is updating his 2014 game, The Ancient World, with a second edition. For those unfamiliar with The Ancient World, players are competing to grow their city-states by managing resources and citizens and building military power to defeat titans. Building empire cards provides citizens, money, and abilities, and also the critical tribe banners for victory. And you can also earn those by defeating those titans. The second edition includes revised and new titans, larger updated player boards, new gameplay elements including aggressive titans and a new ambrosia resource, and a variety of other tweaks and aesthetic updates. If you already own The Ancient World, there's an upgrade pack as an option, but for those who want to dive in or go full on for the new edition of The Ancient World, that takes a pledge of $50 plus shipping. Alrighty, that's all I've got for you this episode. Hopefully something caught your eye. And if you are attending PAX West this weekend, well, I'll be there as well. So if you see me, make sure to stop by and say hi. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week.
The Awful Green Things from Outer Space, a game designed by Tom Wham and published by Steve Jackson Games. This is a 2-player sci-fi war game where basically you have a spaceship and aliens invade your spaceship. This is an easy game and teaches you a few wargame concepts like line of sight, melee attacks, and how to use weapons. Also, movement, attack, and defense. 2-player game where one player plays the aliens and the other player plays, well, the other aliens. This is a great beginner war game with a sci-fi theme. A little wacky about this is when you do attack the aliens and they blow up, all little alien chunks go all over the ship and they start to spawn. This game, besides having alien chunks, is a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. If you want to know more about war games, check out my channel, No Enemies Here.
Today we're reviewing GKR Heavy Hitters. I'm Mark Maya. Welcome to Board Game Coffee. Heavy Hitters is a 1 to 4 player game where each player takes control of their very own team of robots. Okay, so maybe this doesn't come as a big surprise to anyone, but I gotta say it. This game looks awesome on the table. The three-dimensionality of the board makes you feel like you're controlling a giant mech trouncing through the city, battling other giants. So awesome. But Heavy Hitters isn't all about the battle, it's also about tagging buildings. Tagging a building means plastering your corporate sponsors' ads all over the city using these little hollow boards. And if you get 4 hollow boards on one building, your team gets the rights to demolish that building. Demolish 4 buildings first, and you win. Another way to win is to destroy your opponent's mech. But be careful, because once a single mech is out of the fight, that'll be your last combat round. And it's the player with the most cards left in their deck that wins. And that is such a cool dynamic. I once found myself defending another player's heavy hitter, because if he went down, there was no way I was winning. And I wasn't just gonna sit back and let that happen. I mean, it did. I still lost. The guy I was defending actually turned on me and took out my mech. But he didn't win either, so that's okay. I don't really have anything negative to say about heavy hitters. Even now, just talking about it and filming this video. All I want to do is play it. It's all I've been thinking about for the last week. No, wait. You know what? I do have one big complaint about this game. It's not mine. I was actually lent this tabletop treasure to do this video. So thank you very much, Mike and Claudette. You won't be getting this back.
You're giving it back.
Why? What are they gonna do? They can't take it from me.
Give it back.
Okay, fine, I'll give it back. Now let this next statement be a testament to heavy hitters. I don't own the game, but yet I get to play it, and normally that would be enough. But not in this case. I want my own copy of Heavy Hitters, and I don't care that it has a hefty price tag on it. I've had such a good time with this game that I wouldn't bat an eye next time I saw it on the shelf. But you know what would be even better than buying it? Getting it as a gift. Well, if you can't tell by now that I'm a huge fan of Heavy Hitters, then you just haven't been listening.
Okay, so what's coming from the Dice Tower this week? Well, finally we got our footage from the UK Games Expo, so you're going to see the top 10 games that we love but we're terrible at with me, Z, and Dave Luza. We also have one of our game shows that we recorded there just so you can see what one of our game shows looks like, kind of, sort of. I guess it won't be that interesting because there's long periods where people will be writing answers down, but if you want to see that, and then a whole pile of different reviews. I'll be taking a look at the new Warhammer Dice Masters game, as well as the Warhammer trading card game. There's a lot of cool little games that are going to be coming up this week. So there's that. Also, of course, we have our podcast. Eric and I have a podcast coming out tomorrow, which has no top 10, which is a rare thing for us. Instead, this is like our review spectacular, where we just go through a whole pile of games and talk about them. So if you want to hear the audio version of many of my video reviews, well, there you go. Well, with that being said, I think that's what's coming from the Dice Tower this week. You can always find all that information on our website. We're also going to be putting together a page, I should mention, where we're going to have all the different conventions that we're going to be going to up to the end of 2019. So if a convention's out there, doesn't mean we're not going to it, but we haven't made solid plans to go to it thus far. Well, let's keep moving.
Greetings and welcome to the Mag and Meeple. I am Thomas Grogan. Analysis paralysis, otherwise known as AP. You know, sometimes when I play a game, especially games when there's a lot of different options available to you, not so much having to decide what to do, but trying to figure out what course of action is best. And let's face it, there are some games that have a lot of options of different actions, and you really can't strategize that far in advance. Sometimes you just gotta pull the trigger and do something. Do something! Likewise, if someone is having AP, especially if they're new to the game, I don't tell them what to do. I covered that in Alpha Player video. But rather, give them a few suggestions of what they could do in the current situation of the game. You know, just kind of help them along. So what about you? Do you have AP? What has helped you to overcome it? And on the other side of the coin, if there is a player at your game that has AP, what do you as a player do to help them? And how quickly do you resort to pounding their head in with a Twilight Imperium box? That's a joke, by the way. Sound off in the comments down below. Let me know what you think. And if you want to follow me on any of the social media stuff, just go to the Mega Meeple website, www.megameeple.com. All the pertinent information links are there, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Hello everyone, my name is Annette, and you may know me as Netter's Place. And today on Applied Mechanics, I'm going to go over the game of Welcome To. So this is a flip and fill game where you're trying to fill out your neighborhood with all these different house numbers and apply a special effect. So let me show you a little bit about this game and why I really like it. So here's the game of Welcome To. You'll have 3 stacks of cards with house numbers on them on one side, along with the special effects on the other. And right above that, you'll have these special objectives that you're going to try to obtain before other players in order to score bonus points. You'll be taking turns simultaneously with all other players, and on your turn, you'll be able to take any combination from one of the 3 stacks. When you pick a combination, you'll first write down the number on your player sheet. You have to follow a few simple rules. The numbers have to go from left to right in ascending order, and you're not allowed to repeat any numbers unless it's a special card effect. You are allowed to skip numbers as well. Then you'll be able to apply the special effect. This is a surveyor, which is going to allow you to draw a fence between houses. The landscaper will allow you to cross off one of the parks in the row that you drew the number in. The temp agency will allow you to either add or subtract 1 or 2 numbers from the house number above, and you'll also cross off one of these signs. Once all players are done, then you'll just flip over the cards. The real estate agent card will allow you to increase the value of the estate. Estates are houses that are in between fences. The pool manufacturer will allow you to draw a pool on the number that you just drew, only if there's a pool already there. The biz card will allow you to duplicate any of the numbers that have already been written. You'll add up your points, and the player with the most points wins. So as you can see, you have all these different options at the beginning of the game where you could fill up these numbers and apply their effects. However, the game board becomes more and more constricted the further along the game goes. There's not much player interaction except for those hard to reach objectives, so you always have to keep an eye on what your neighbors are doing. It's always satisfying whenever you fill out your whole sheet or when you complete all your objectives. There's a lot going on and it's really easy to introduce, and that's why I really like Welcome To. Well, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye!
2 brothers set loose in a thrift store. This is Thrift Store Throwbacks.
What is this? Golo is simply golf in a cup. Whoa! All you gotta do is shake it. The top of the box looks like a golf hole. Rated #1 by Golf Digest. Extremely addicting. You'll never be able to stop. Golo! I can't stop. Imagine Caddyshack meets Las Vegas. Why? Reasons! Kids love it! Do. Jesus, Grandpa, don't rub me during meal time! Great for the grill room! Golo is a game with a whole bunch of clickbait written all over it. Does it make you want to play? It shouldn't. This game sucks. Golo! Comes with its own travel bag. Golo on the go-go! Dang! Dang! Alright, this is Golo. Golo, you're going to be rolling out these 9 die, which means it's a 9-hole golf game. Whatever you roll, you're going to take the lowest one, which in this case is a number 3, and set off the side, but you can really set aside as many as you want. If it has a circle around it, that means it's a birdie. If it has a square around it, that means it's par. And if it has a star around it like that, that means it's an eagle. You're putting aside die, and you keep re-rolling stuff you don't want. You put aside more die, and you keep going, Once you put aside all 9 die, that is your score. I don't know, who cares? Just, this game sucks. So that was Golo Dice Game. Golo, if you can, man. This is one of the worst things I've ever played.
Oh, man. This is really bad.
Because there's nothing.
You could technically employ a slight amount of strategy in that you can take more than 1 die if you want, but it's really just hope you roll low. Because you gotta roll low and go low.
It's addicting! Yeah, that's what I'll give the game. The dice are really heavy. They're nice die. I just wish they
the game, any game was around it. Anyway, that was Golo. Do check us out on Twitch specifically, because tomorrow we're giving away over 20 games, guys. Over 20 games on Twitch at 6:30. Bam, Pacific, whatever time we're in. Daylight? I don't know. Until next time, we're going to see you on the back nine, brother. I don't want to talk about this again. And we're going to see you. I'm going to be going low all day, man, because you know why? It's addicting. Easy to learn, hard to put down.
Hi, Mike Alicio from Solomode Games. Paper Tales is a card drafting and tableau building game that plays from 2 to 5 players. However, when you add the Beyond the Gates expansion, that player count adjusts to 1 to 7. One player, you say? That's right, a solo mode. Let's shine a solo mode spotlight on Paper Tales with the Beyond the Gates expansion. In Paper Tales Beyond the Gates, you're playing against an AI opponent known as the Lich King. This being a drafting game, you do a modified drafting mechanic where you're going to end up with 5 cards for your recruitment phase like normal. The cards that are not chosen are going to go into a deck known as the Necropolis, and this is going to be a potential way for the AI to score points. When you do your deployment and you put out the cards in your tableau, paying costs as normal, you now are going to have to look through the Necropolis to find out what points the AI will score. They're going to score a number of points right off the bat just based on their card, in this case 4. And then you're going to look through the Necropolis and look to see if any of these abilities on the bottom of the card will trigger. In this case, the AI would get 1 point for each unit that has at least 1 income ability. So you'd look through cards that you had put in the Necropolis, there are some decisions to make, and give any extra points, like this one for example, would give you 1 point because this has a income trigger. So they would get 5 points. The other thing that you're going to do is have a modified war mechanic where you're going to flip over the next card in the line and have 2 wars. You're going to add up the black numbers and the purple numbers. In this case, you add up the black numbers and you'll get a strength of 3. You add up the purple numbers, you get a strength of 5. You are going to check your strength in the same way, and you're going to fight 2 wars against the Lich King. Every other aspect of the game is pretty much the same as regular Paper Tales, and if you've got more points than the Lich King at the end, you win. There you have Paper Tales Beyond the Gates solo mode. Thank you so much for your time, and have a great day.
Happy breakfast, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about one bit of news about the company that makes these games, Blue Orange, and why I think they've done something really special, and it really deserves special mention. And that is the fact that they're going to be teaming up with Ishpingu. Now, I've probably pronounced that wrong, but it's a non-profit organisation that is all about the reforestation of the world, or certain parts of it at least. Effectively, Blue Orange are committing to planting 2 trees for every single one that they have used to make games. Now, they're going to be planting and reforesting the Amazon, in particular a part of Ecuador, that's going to be getting all of these trees via the non-profit organisation. So in 2017 alone, they used 1,189 trees in total to make their games. So that's a whopping 2,378 trees that they are guaranteeing that they're going to be planting. To me, I think that's absolutely huge, that a company that, you know, has to have profits and all that sort of stuff is really living by its motto of hot games, cool planet, and giving back to the planet. I just think it's really worth highlighting, and they really deserve celebrating as a company. They're going to be having a special logo on some of their boxes that's like "We Plant Trees" in the future to sort of really emphasise what they're doing. But I don't think it is just a PR thing. I think the company is generally as a whole, they don't need to do this, but it shows that they kind of care about the world to do it. Anyway, I just think that Blue Orange are awesome for doing this, and I hope other companies do something similar as well. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'm Oliver East, signing out.
Okay, I'm in a pretty cheerful mood today. Considering I dropped my child off at college yesterday, there's not tears running down my face, but she is at college. And it's kind of funny, she took a pile of board games with her, and people are like, yeah, we understand. You're not going to be able to really play many board games at college because you'll be busy with your studies and you'll be busy doing this and that and this and that. And you know what? That's true. when we were kids and in high school, you would play games for but really, it's also not quite true. See, when you get out of college, then you have to get a job and you have to, you're following your career and you'll be probably too busy to play games. Later on, you're going to start a family and have some kids and you're going to be too busy to play games at that point. And maybe you'll just be too busy to play games until you get to be retired, and then you'll finally have time to play games. And I've never really subscribed to that theory because I think time is something we make of it. People ask me all the time, they're like, well, how do you get the time to do this? Where do you get the time to do all these games? Well, the same place everybody else does. This is one of the things that I get asked a lot, where do you find the time? Well, I make the time. See, I don't watch a ton of TV. I don't watch a ton of movies. I make sure that I get up at a certain time every day. I go to bed at a certain time every day. And then I schedule my day. I do this, I do that, I do this, I do that, I do this. And I just make playing board games a priority. It's not my number one priority. Family is a priority. My church is a priority. Other things I do are higher priorities than that. But it is more of a priority for me than, let's say, watching the latest episode of something. It's more of a priority for me than just sitting around and taking a long bath or what have you. And I like all these other things, but I make board gaming a priority. You don't have to, of course. I don't think board gaming is that important. It has to be everyone's priority. And you say, Tom, it's also your job. Well, sure. But even before it was my job, it was just something I put higher on the list of priorities for me to do. I think we all have time to do things. I think how we spend our time is completely up to us. Maybe you want to spend your time reading. I do that. Maybe you want to spend your time listening to music. Maybe you want to spend your time just sitting in front of the TV and watching a ton of TV shows, binge watching through a Netflix series. I'm not judging any of that. What I'm saying is I think, though, that if you say, eventually I'll have time to play board games, if you go by that theory, you probably never will. Now, I realize that people have to work very hard and you need to make ends meet, and that comes before anything else. And I realize that sometimes when you get home from work, you're really tired and there's not a lot of time to do things. And again, I'm not saying this to make any judgment on anybody. I'm just saying that when someone comes to me and goes, I wish I had time to do that, I would say to them, well, why don't you write down your time throughout the week? This is a tough thing to do because if you do it, it's kind of scary. But if you write down every day what you do all day long, like I spent this much time eating, I spent this much time getting ready in the morning, I spent this much time in bed, just slowly waking up from when my alarm went off to getting out of bed. If you write all that down, you'll find out that you're not quite as busy as you think you are. It's just that phenomenon, and I talked about this a few weeks ago, where, like I said, people say I played a game 50 times, and you'll say, oh, I'm busy. I was busy all day long. I didn't have a free time. But if you write down how long you spend on Facebook, or how long you spend just scrolling through your phone, looking at funny pictures, if you write that all down over the course of the week, you might find something you can cut out and put board games in. Or maybe you'll find that you're playing board games too much, So time is an interesting thing. It's one of the things that we all have lots of money, but we all have the same amount of time. Well, that's actually not quite true. Some people have more time than others just because their jobs are shorter or what have you. But I think that time is not as constrictive as we make it out to be. You can multitask. Every morning now I get up and I take a long walk and I'll listen to things and I'll think and I'll plan my day. And when I get back, I am so charged from doing that. Mark Street is on the Dice Darren. If you've noticed, he does our Kickstarter previews. He has lost a ton of weight over the past year, and I look at that and I'm like, wow. And one of the things he did was diet, but the other thing he did was he walked a lot. And I said, Mark, I don't have time to walk. Well, guess what? I do. I just sat down and said, okay, can I fit this in my schedule? Let's make walking a priority. And I did. And somehow I seem to have more time than I've had before. When I'm walking, I'll make a phone call. I'm multitasking, but I'm getting things done. Time. I wish I had someone talk to me about this before I went to college. I might not have wasted so much time there. Well, what it is, I don't know. Why did she leave me?
Hey folks, this is Jonathan for Harsh Opinion. When I'm talking about a game I really like, but I think that something inside doesn't work at all. It might be inside the rulebook is not well written. It might be that the graphic design doesn't work. It might be there's a problem inside the balancing of the game. It might be everything. And today's game is going to be Dragon's Gate College. So bear with me, I'm going to show you what I think doesn't work inside that game. So here we have a sample of the game board and player mats for players, and right away I'm gonna say to you, I'm not gonna be able to explain everything that doesn't work inside that game because it's gonna be too long of a video, but I'm gonna just point a few. First of all, with those player boards, because you're gonna build tiles like that, they're one square, 2 square, or 3 square Tetris shaped tiles, but if you get that player board, you can only build a 1 tile right there because you cannot cover those spaces, and this one you can build whatever you want. So if you're the unlucky guy with that player board, then you're gonna be stuck to have only one option to build little buildings in there. Doesn't work. Here you get a 2 points if you're able to take your 2 other dice inside the game, but it's not even explained in the rule book. You have to find out by yourself by going online. Another part that doesn't work is here. If you go there, you're gonna be the next first player. If you go there, you're not gonna be the second player. You're just gonna gain $1 or 1 imp. But that arrow let you believe that the turn order is gonna be from that player all the way to this one, but no, it's gonna be clockwise order from that player only, and those are only bonuses, so it doesn't work. The graphic design doesn't work. And here this means any player's color, so that makes sense, yes, but no, there's a black die inside that game that you're gonna roll once every turn, and it means that die too. So what die should I roll, this one or the other one? It's not a great graphic design. But the worst part goes with those styles. Here again, this bonus, $2 and 2 cards 1 time. This $1, 1 imp, each income phase. Do you see any difference for the iconography or graphic design that makes you believe that this is permanent and this is only a one-time bonus? The only way to find out is to go inside the rule book and know by heart, so it's really frustrating. And because of that, I think this game doesn't work at all, except if you really know what you're doing. And you're not gonna know what you're doing if you don't play the game. So thank you for watching. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.
I love spa days.
Gabby, I got you some more accessories. Look what I got. A new bag, posters, a holder, some books. Oh, I'm so happy.
Have you seen the amount of accessories you have? That's not even it. You have more in the boxes.
Exactly. We don't have nearly enough. Hi, I'm Gil Mello.
And I'm Gabby, and this is Time to Play. And today, we've switched spots.
Yes, we did. And what is all that?
These are all accessories. Accessories are one of the best things about our hobby. They go from plastic containers to wooden containers, even to metal containers. My favorite accessory are the coins.
Oh yeah, metal coins are my favorite accessories too. I seem to have a thing for play mats. This is just some of my mats. I have a whole case full of mats in there. I just think that makes the game look so much nicer to play.
I agree. Accessories make the game so much funner, especially when it's just like a card game without the board. Then you get to see the mat.
Yeah, that's true. Accessory can definitely make a game seems much better.
Yeah. Let us know what your favorite accessories are in the comments down below.
Yeah, we would love to know. Let us know what are we missing on our accessory collection.
More metal coins!
All right. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy breakfast.
Happy breakfast!
Hey everybody, it's Christina from Girls Game Shelf. I just had kind of a game breakup situation. I don't want to say breakup. We're on hold. We're taking a break. I've always loved Battle Line, and it's just the easy game that we bring out when we want to just not think too much, but think a little bit. But we went to bring it off the shelf the other day, and I just felt meh. Like I maybe had played it one too many times. So I have 2 games that came into my life recently that can give me at least some of the things I love about Battle Line, but maybe with a fresh perspective. The first game that I have started playing is Hanamakoji, which is by Deepwater Games, and it has the same, capture the flag kind of element where you're trying to win the favor of all of these geishas by playing cards in front of them. Very similar. But there's only 4 actions you can take on a turn. And 2 of those actions, too, it's giving a gift to another person, so you have to give them a choice out of some of your cards. So it's just a little bit more complex. And I still haven't quite wrapped my head around how to win it, which is maybe why I like it. Can't figure it out yet. I also got to play Arboretum, and Arboretum is lovely. Granted, it's not too similar to Battle Line. I mean, it's a card game and you're dealing with number patterns. That's about all that's similar about it. But, I mean, first of all, the artwork is beautiful. All these beautiful trees, it just, it's very peaceful at the end of the night. In Arboretum, you're creating different pathways with your tree cards, but you have to have the numbers escalating in value, and it has to start and end with the same species. But you can't even score that species at the end of the game unless you have so many cards of that species in your hand. So while you're managing your hand, you're trying to create your pathways, and I did not expect this game to be so thinky, but it is delightfully so. And I think actually that's what I loved about Battle Line. It's a lighthearted but thinky game. So if you have any other suggestions to fill that description, let me know, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Randy and Ellen, we game together.
It's your turn.
Ooh.
Hi, I'm Randy.
I'm Ellen. Guys, I love this game. We're talking about Castles of Burgundy.
Ellen's
I don't know
favorite
why we
game.
haven't talked about this one sooner. I talk a lot about it.
Maybe it's because we have it set up in the beginning video and we
that's
never
what it
really
was.
thought to revisit it.
It took forever to set up, by the way. We did that for you guys.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I just realized, too? It's actually called The Castles of Burgundy, not Castles of Burgundy. I did not know this until today.
TCOB.
TCOB, yeah. This is my favorite game of all time, and it's worker placement, but you also have dice that you can manipulate with workers to do things for you, and I love it.
Right. It's not like a direct worker placement. It's kind of got that feeling. You're purchasing tiles, and then you get to place them in a holding area, and then place them on your field or fief or whatever they call it.
Fief? I've never heard that.
Yeah. I don't know exactly what term they use, but yeah.
Yeah. I think it's a classic. I feel like it really, truly belongs in every gamer's game closet, and I think it plays awesome at 2-player. I've played it at 3 and 4. I think I played it 4 once.
I prefer it at 2.
I love it at 2.
Maybe 3
Yeah.
and 4 if you have 4 people that have played it before. Otherwise, it definitely can drag.
Yeah.
There can be some AP in there, trying to figure out exactly where you want to go, when you want to spend your workers, etc.
Yeah.
But 2 is our favorite.
Yeah, it's golden. It's gravy, as you'd call it.
Gravy.
2 is gravy. I love it, and also, let me show you why I love it. You don't have to do this, but I do, because I like customized cute little things. I got these pink little dice with heart...
Pink? Who would have thought?
Who would have thought, right? With these little heart pips. That's what they're called, right? Pips.
Pips.
Getting the terms of all these game things down. It's so fun. So I love rolling those, and I love this game so much. It's fantastic.
Yep. And stay tuned for the photo of the day.
Bye, guys. Have a good week.
See ya.
Hello, my name's Dan, and this is Cora, and we're here to talk to you about games for young children. And today we're going to talk about this game. What is it, Cora?
Stone Age, the card game this time.
Stone Age, the card game. My First Stone Age, the card game, is a small box version of the children's version of the big box game of Stone Age. You follow that? Good. In the game, you're going to be trying to collect resources in order to build huts. You do this by moving a wooden mammoth 1 to 4 spaces around a circle of cards. You flip over whichever card you choose to land on. If it shows a resource you need to complete your hut, you take that card and put it towards construction. If it doesn't, then you show all the other players what the card was and put it back face down. And the person to complete 3 hut wins. This is basically a memory game. You need to remember what all the different cards are. And because it's a memory game, I'm absolutely rubbish at it. So Cora, what do you think about My First Stone Age, the card game? Apart from it's got a very long title.
I like it because, Firstly, I wouldn't. And
How do you think it compares to the board game Stone Age? Is it the same? Is it different?
I think it's quite a bit the same because, well, look in here. So, like, on the last one, you had to collect things for your huts, and so do you have to on this one.
It's the same kind of thing, isn't it? It's a memory thing where you have to keep on going round. In fact, I don't think, really, there's a great deal of difference between this and the board game, other than the board game's got a lot more wooden bits and things like that, and it's quite a bit more expensive. So, I like it. How do you feel about it?
Didn't I just tell you?
I can't remember. So, we give Stone Age My First
Stone Age the card game.
We give My First Stone Age the card game to Caveman. Thumbs up. Ooga, 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 ooga. Oh.
Hey, Matthew Jude here, and in the words of my favourite robot,
I'm back, baby.
Yes, I was on vacation for kind of a while there. I was in a place called America, I think. It says here they're home to the world's largest chair. Oh, just wait until the Dutch hear about this. But while I was in America, I came across a link that was on the internet, which connected me to something called Quantic Foundry and their board game motivational profile. So I thought, yes, I'll do that. I'm an INFJ, and that means nothing, like Plato or Lisa Simpson, and let's just call them high-ranking military officials for now, shall we? But it is actually quite interesting. And there's a quick word on percentiles that gives you this thing at the end you can read through. And mine says conflict, 6%. Yeah, I'm not high on the conflict. Don't destroy the stuff I just built. Super uncool. Very strategic. I guess that means in theory, as opposed to being relaxed. Immersion, 7%. That's probably true. One of my favourite categories in the whole thing is social fun. I scored 29% on that. You'd have to ask everyone I played with, I suppose. Cooperation, 3%. Brilliant. 4% chance and 4% accessibility. This is making me sound like a 44% aesthetics. This is making me out to seem like a monster. Anyway, I would suggest everyone go on that and just do it because it's a bit of fun. Anyway, I'm very, very glad to be back and I'll see you next week. Bye.
And that's it for another Board Game Breakfast. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks to all my contributors. They do a fantastic job sending in stuff every week, so I'm always excited to see what they're going to do. And next week I'll be back in the studio. Actually, I'll be back in the studio in 10 hours or so once we're done with this really long drive. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. This September's coming up. We'll be going to Iceland for a convention there. Hey, I didn't do a Tom is Wrong this week. That's because I need more segments from you. Send a segment in and tell me what I'm wrong about, a review, something, anything, and we'll put it up here and we'll talk about it. Anyhow, that's all I have for you this week. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel. You've been watching Board Game Breakfast on the Dice Tower.
Thanks for watching Board Game Breakfast. Tune in each week for your daily dose of gaming goodness with Tom Vasel and all the gang. Until next time, I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching Board Game Breakfast, a Dice Tower production, sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., an amazing place to buy board games. Cool stuff in stock at coolstuffinc.com.